Star Wars The Rise of Skywalker is said to have many revelations and saga-wide implications in this film by writer and director J.J. Abrams and Chris Terrio. This is Mike Zero. If you guys are new to the channel, do make sure to subscribe to see future Star Wars content. Now, one aspect of Episode 9 that a lot of people are really looking forward to is, of course, exactly how J.J. Abrams is going to utilize the characters of Kylo Ren and Rey on the big screen, and exactly how those characters are really going to work together, either as a team or against each other in this movie, which is going to be a very interesting, unique angle to, of course, The Rise of Skywalker. Now, these past couple of weeks or so, we've been learning a whole lot more about this film, and when it all comes down to one of the concept art descriptions, this is where things begin to get very exciting for this movie. Now, specifically, a description of Kylo Ren and Rey in a confrontation on a large landing pad where it's described that both Kylo and Rey are in an argument. It said that a large body of fire is seen behind Kylo, where lots of ash is falling over Rey and onto the ground. It said to be a moment where they are near the burning First Order headquarters from below that takes place in the third act of the film. The next describes Rey being force pushed by Kylo Ren near his ship/shuttle, where it's described that she sees Vader's melted helmet mounted on a podium inside of there. That is described to be the moment in which she takes Vader's helmet and throws it over the cliff, causing Kylo to get angry and sprint toward the edge of the landing pad, watching Darth Vader's melted helmet tumble down the cliff. The sequence is described to be a moment in which Rey is getting rid of the Vader helmet, which was a direct influence of him staying in tune with the dark side of the Force. The next describes Rey and Kylo now engaged in a Force fight, where Rey is said to use the Force stasis technique after Kylo uses a strike of Force lightning toward her, where she is able to dissolve the lightning in mid-air. The next describes Rey using the Force repulse technique, causing a large shockwave on the landing pad, where Kylo's shuttle is said to tip over the edge, where also a large explosion occurs above the base, causing debris to fall down to where it hits Rey almost and Kylo from above, where Kylo is described to use the Force to block the debris as Rey begins to run away, as she uses a rope to make it off the landing pad before it collapses, where Kylo is also said to make his way down with the rope. So I want to go over a couple of parts about this. Now, first things first, what's really impressive to me is that Kylo Ren is able to use Force lightning. Now, we heard about this lightly a couple of weeks ago, that he's going to be able to use the concept of other Force powers in Episode 9, one of which seems like it is indeed going to be Force lightning. Now, after all, you don't have to be a Sith to use this ability from what it seems. We've seen Snoke use this, and many times Andy Serkis, Rian Johnson, J.J. Abrams have said numerous times that Snoke is not a Sith at all. Now, what's really interesting to me, though, however, is that it does take a certain amount of dark side energy in order to generate the whole entire idea of Force lightning. So this roughly takes 1 year after the events of The Last Jedi. So you can only imagine how far powerful Kylo Ren really is in comparison to how he was in The Last Jedi and The Force Awakens. Now, this lightning strike, this lightning attack, if you will, that Kylo Ren initiates toward Rey, is actually said to be blocked by Rey, where she uses the Force stasis technique in its mastered form. Now, in case you guys have no idea what Force stasis really is, Force stasis is an ability where you are able to force freeze objects or incoming blaster fire in mid-air, or even a person at that. We've seen two great examples of this being used in The Force Awakens by Kylo, where he uses the Force stasis technique against Rey on Takodana, freezing her movements and everything, keeping her still, and also using it against Poe Dameron, freezing the blaster in mid-air, as well as his body. So that's another thing to point out here, is that Rey is literally able to use this against the Force lightning and make it fade into mid-air. Now, the other piece that I do want to go over is how she's able to use the Force repulse technique. Now, this is yet another power that Rey is able to use in Episode 9, where she's able to actually create a large shockwave that causes the entire shuttle of Kylo Ren to eventually tip over the edge of the landing pad. Now, before all of this takes place, this is where it really gets interesting, and we heard about this lightly a couple of months ago, where the Darth Vader helmet would be thrown over the landing pad or over the cliff by the hands of Rey, after she is force pushed by Kylo Ren near his shuttle, where she sees the Vader helmet mounted on a podium inside of the main piece of the ship while it's opened, and she makes her way in there and steals the Vader melted helmet and shows Kylo Ren this helmet and chucks it over the cliff. So, once again, this is basically Rey's way of trying to help Kylo Ren from what it seems. This is her way of ridding the addiction of the dark side of the Force from what it seems, or Kylo Ren's obsession with his grandfather. This also ties directly into the other sequence that we went over not too long ago, where that scarecrow figure of Darth Vader's armor that the Knights and Kylo Ren created actually sets on fire, and it's actually put into a blaze. And that's where I feel that the whole entire conflict within Kylo Ren is going to start, where you're going to have this disconnect between both Kylo Ren and Vader in Episode 9 within the third act of the film. Anyways, guys, drop a comment below. Let me know what you think about all of this in the comments. And if you guys did enjoy the content for today, do make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support, and I'll catch you guys next time.
Night to moon, we hear them moans again.